Hey, let's learn how to make this intermediate wall hanging. I'm going to show you how to do a lark's head knot, a half of a square knot, and then a full square knot. So 3 different knots just to create this design. Even if you're a beginner level, I feel like you could do this. It might be a little challenging or take you a little bit longer than an intermediate level, but I've taught both of these, actually all 3 of these knots to my beginners. So let's get started. In your kit, you have a dowel rod and a piece of twine. Just attach that twine to either end of the dowel rod just with like a simple knot. There's nothing fancy there. And then I use that to clip up while I'm working so it's not sliding around everywhere. Or you can tape it too. I use tape also. All right, so next we're gonna attach all of your cords. I believe there are 18 cords total, okay? So you're gonna take one cord, you're gonna meet the ends, you're gonna flip it around so it's like a rainbow shape. I want you to put that rainbow on top of the dowel rod and then take the bottom part of the cords, you're gonna tuck those underneath the dowel rod and through the rainbow. So from behind, you're gonna pull it through that rainbow and then pull those ends tight and you have a lark's head knot. So you're gonna do that for all 18 of your cords. I'll show you again. You're gonna meet the ends just on one piece of cord. Flip it around so it's like a rainbow. Put the rainbow on top of your dowel rod. Take the bottom part, the ends, and stick it behind, underneath that dowel rod and through that rainbow. And just pull. And then I just slide them over so I have room for all of my other ones. So go ahead and attach all 18 of your cords and then I will show you the next step. Okay, so now that you have all 18 cords attached, we're going to start knotting them. And we're going to start with these 2 spiral designs, okay? So to create these, you're just going to only use half of a square knot for it. And what I want you to do is attach your dowel rod wherever you want to work. So tape it on a wall, attach it to a clipboard like I'm doing, tape it down on a table, wherever's comfortable for you. And we're going to count these little loops. We're going to take 1 loop, 2 loop, 3 loops, 4 loops. 4 loops. We're going to take all those cords, that should be 8 cords total, and just push them off to the side. Then we're going to take the next 4 and those ones we're gonna knot. The next 4 cords, but only 2 loops, 1, 2, okay? So to do that, you're going to take the far left one, you're gonna cross it over all of them. You're gonna take the far right one, pull it out so it's on top of the one that you just crossed. Then you're gonna take that same one that you just pulled out and put on top and tuck it under this space, behind the middle 2 and through here. So under this space, behind the middle 2 and pull through. And then you're going to push all the way up. So I'm pulling the outer cords, but keeping the middle cords how they are. So we're gonna do the same thing again. So you take the left cord, cross it over all of them, pull that right cord out so it's on top of the one that you crossed over, and then take that same one that's on top now, tuck it underneath and through to the left. And then you pull the outer cords and keep the middle cords taut in the middle. When you take that first cord and you cross it over, that's its only job. That's all it does. This one is the cord that does all the work. So the far right one is the one you pull it out and it goes underneath, through through to the left, and then you pull. And as you do this, as you keep knotting, the cords are going to spin and like create that spiral naturally. And as they do that, your left cord and your right cord are going to switch. And that's okay. Work with it. So here, it's already spiraling, you can see. So I'm just gonna work with it, let it spiral. And now my left cord's over on the left, and my right is just on the right. It doesn't matter which one's left or right. They're just gonna kind of switch back and forth. So keep doing this, and I do it, let's see, in this one, I count the spirals. So one, like when there's a line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 spirals I did, okay? So do it till you have 5 spirals. Or if you feel like, oh gosh, I'm doing this too tight, and you wanna do a little bit longer, you can. Or maybe you have more space in between yours and you're looser, maybe only do 4 spirals. That's really up to you, but in this design, I did 5 spirals. So go ahead and finish that, and then we'll start on the other spiral side. So I'm gonna count 1, 2, 3, 4 of those loops and pull them off to the right. Get those out of here. And then I'm going to take the next 4 cords or the next 2 loops, and those are gonna be the ones that I'm working with that same knot that we just did to create the spiral. So again, you're gonna take your left cord, cross it over all 3, take the far right one, pull it out so it's on top. Then you take it under here, under the middle 2, to that other loop, to the 4. And you pull the outer ones out and the middle ones down. And then you just keep going with that. And same thing, you're gonna wanna do 5 loops or 5 spirals, or as many that you did on this side as you did on the other side. And make sure that they're even and line up. And as it twists and turns, remember, it doesn't matter which cord is on the left, which one's on the right, they're gonna keep trading, and that's okay. Okay, now I've got both of these done, as should you, and we're ready to move on to the next knot, which is a square knot. So this is the most challenging one, but if you got this down, you'll be able to get the square knot, no problem. So we're gonna start on the left, and we're gonna start with those first 4 cords that we had, that we set off to the side. And I'm going to take, or I'm sorry, I guess the first 8, but you know, a set of 4 of those little loops. All right, so I'm gonna take the 4 on the left, 4 cords on the left, and I'm going to do the same thing that I did to create these spirals. Let me move these out of the way. So I'm gonna take the left one, cross it over all of them, pull the far right one out so it's on top, tuck it under the space and through to the opposite side, just like we've been doing. Pull it all the way up. Now, to turn this into a square knot, you're gonna do the same thing, but reverse your cords. So now the right one comes over top, and the left one comes out, so it's on top. And that's the one that goes under this space, behind the middle 2, through to this side. So under that space, to the right, and then you pull it. So that you have a tiny little square there when you're done. So now I'm gonna do that. I'm done with that set, so now I'm gonna move on to the next set of 4. And do the same thing. Left one crosses over, right one goes out and on top, and under and through. I tighten it all the way up to the top. Now, to finish that knot, the second step is to take the right cord, cross it over, so it's a backwards 4, Take the left one, pull it out so it's the one on top. And this is your working cord. So this is the one that does all the work. Goes under this space, behind the middle two, and through that backwards 4 space on the right. And then you just pull it and tighten it all the way up to that knot you created before. So now you have 2 square knots. So now we're going to join these together, and it's going to create this pattern. So you can see here, you've got the 2 square knots at the top, then 1 in the middle, then 2, then 1, then 2, then 1. So now I'm going to leave these side ones off, the 2 on the sides, those go off. So I have 4 left in the middle, and make the same knot. Left one crosses over, right one comes out on top, goes behind and through to the left. And then pull it and tighten it all the way up to the bottom of those first square knots you made. Then take the right cord, cross it over all of them, pull the left one out so it's on top, tucks underneath, and through to the right. Tighten that all the way up. Now you can pull all your cords back down, and you're going back to using all of them. So now I go back to using my first 4, doing the same square knot. And now I grab my second set of 4. So I have a row of 2, 1, 2, and I'm gonna go back and do a row of 1. So I leave the 2 outside ones off on both sides, get them out of the way, grab my middle 4, and make a square knot again. Tighten that up. So I'm going to keep going. And I want you to have a total, let's see, how many did I have in this one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A total of 5 rows of 2, if that makes sense. So the ones that have 2 square knots, you want 5 of those. An easy way to count them is just to count that little loop on the outside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of each of the knots. Okay, so there should be 5 2 rows, or like rows of 2, and then there should also be 5 rows of just 1 in the middle. Okay, so it should end on a middle one at the bottom. All right, so go ahead, do that, and then I'll show you how to get started on the opposite side. Okay, so I've got my left side finished with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows of 2 knots and 5 rows of single knots that are in the middle. So now I'm ready to go on to the other side. You can move all of these cords out of your way if you want to. So now I'm going to take these 4 that are over here, and I push them up nice and tight to my dowel rod. And it's the same thing. So I'm going to take, I always like to work like left to right, so I'll just take the first 4 on the left, cross that left one over, pull that right one out, tuck it behind and through, tighten it all the way up. Take the right one, cross it over, pull that left one out so it's on top, tuck it underneath and through. And your tension, you might notice, is different than mine. You might have really tiny square knots because you're pulling tighter, and that's okay. It kind of, tension just comes with practice, is what I tell everyone. When I first started out, a lot of my knots were really loose because I just didn't know how tight would be too tight, and so everything in mine was very loose and had lots of gaps in it, and just as I kept practicing, I realized, okay, I can pull a little bit tighter. And if yours are too tight, the opposite, just loosen up, you know? Just don't pull as tight. But like I said, that kind of comes with practice. And you might even notice while you're creating this that maybe like your left side, the one you did first, is really tight, and then the one on the right is a little bit looser, just because you are learning as you're going. So remember, while we're doing this, that's a pattern 2, 1, 2, 1. It's the same as the other side. We're gonna have 5 rows of 2 and 5 rows of 1, of that middle one. And just count the loops, the side loops of each knot, to count your rows. So I'm gonna let you finish that. So now we're on to the final part to knot, the middle. So you can put these off to the side and get them out of the way. And then you're going to start, you should have 12 cords total for this. So just count your ropes, make sure you have 12, or you can count the loops, 6 loops at the top. So I'm gonna take my first 4 on the left and I'm gonna make a square knot. It's all about the square knot. Tighten it all the way up. Done with that, I'm gonna take my next group of 4 and make a square knot with those 2. And then the last. So you should have a row of 3 square knots. Okay, next, we're going to leave 2 off. And we're going to take our next group of 4 and make square knots again. The whole thing is square knots. There's no other knot that we're using to create this diamond pattern. So right now we're creating like a bottom of a diamond, so it looks like a V. Take my next group of 4. And then I'll have 2 left off on the sides, that's fine. Now I'm going to take off 2 more. And use my middle 4 and make a square knot to connect those. Okay, so you can kind of see now it has like this V pattern here, or the bottom of a diamond. Now we're gonna do it the top of the diamond. So this one counts as the top. So now I'm going to work to the left and then to the right. So I'm gonna get these guys out of here. I'm gonna split them right down the middle so that there should be 6 cords on the right and 6 cords on the left. These are the ones I'm gonna start with. And I'm gonna take my first 4 cords and create a square knot. I'm going to tighten it to the bottom of that last square knot. There should be a gap right here. See that little gap? Now I'm going to pull in these 2 and take the 2 left from here. And make a square knot. And there will be an even bigger space there. And you want that space so that you can create this top of the diamond. So that's one side of the diamond. Now I'm going to move to the right. So I'm going to take my first 4 cords that are in the middle, leave those 2 out for now, take my square knot, tighten it all the way to the bottom of that square knot so it's even with your other one. I'm going to pull these guys back in and take the two right from here. There we go. So now I've got the top of a diamond. So now we're going to fill it in and finish the diamond. To fill it in, you take the center 4 cords. So you need like a row going across here and make a square knot with them. There we go. So now it's filled in there. So it's just a triangle. And now we're gonna go back and do like the V, kind of like we did up here. We already have a row of 3, so now we have to do a row of 2 square knots and then 1. And then we're gonna keep repeating that to make 3 more diamonds. So I'm gonna leave off 2. Take my next group of 4, make my square knot. I'm going to leave off 2, grab that group of 4, make a square knot. The square knot is a really cool knot because it's so basic and there's just endless things that you can do with it. I feel like it's kind of like a drawing knot. Like you can make so many great designs. It's just really cool. You can like write words with it. It's awesome. Okay, so now I've got that. So now I've got to finish this diamond shape. I'm going to take the center 4 cords and make a square knot with them. And there you go. So you've got 1 diamond there. So we're gonna repeat those same steps to do 1, 2, 3 more. So you should have 4 diamonds total, and then this little half guy up here. So when you get finished, well, imagine mine's finished, go ahead and take it off of your tape or your clipboard, and then hang your wall hanging up somewhere. Make sure it's even, like on a wall or something. And so that your cords are nice and straight and hanging down. And then my tip to you is if you want to use like some painter's tape or a little masking tape, you just tape off the bottom like in a straight line, or you can tape it in a V, however you want to cut it, and just tape them down and then chop under the line to get a perfect line. Just like a little secret tip for you. Anyway, but that is it, and then you are all finished. You can fray out the ends if you want. You can just go right ahead and hang it up and show off your work. Don't forget to tag me, the Urban Art Studio, if you like take a picture and you post it on social media or something. I would love to see it. Have fun.